It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Throws, ends it. Yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to another edition of the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen with you, and Jason Walker. He is getting ready for a Logan High basketball game tonight. Logan High taking on Brighton, but that game being played at Olympus. So kind of a neutral site, I guess, venue for that game. But that'll be on our sister station, KVNU. Pregame at about 5:20. Tip-off will be at 5:30 on our sister station, KVNU. Logan High off to a really good start so far this year. So big game for them coming up tonight. And just a few games that are taking place this week with some high school games from Region 11. We know that Bear River has a game at Weber, but we had some scheduling conflicts with some of our personnel, so unfortunately not able to get that game covered. But we'll try to get some updates from that game the best that we can. But that game tipping off now at Weber. So few games here and there, some of the teams during this Christmas holiday break before they pick things up again. Non-region schedule will continue for a few more days into next week, the start of the new year. And then region play really gets going on January 12th. So still a few games here and there taking place for Region 11 teams until they get going into region play. But so no Jason Walker here on the show, but not flying solo tonight. Somebody left the door open, and Ajay Salvesen sneaked through and found his way to one of his old familiar chairs here in the fan studio.
You make me sound like I'm the producer looking for donuts. Why do you do that to me?
Am
I
not wrong?
The doors. The door was open. He stuck. My key card still works, Eric. It's still activated.
Wait, there's people still here. It's not locked.
Paul, there's someone outside looking for electricity. You should go outside and go look for him. Door swings right open. Sneak right in. Eric, what's up?
Hey!
How are you, man?
How are you, Ajay?
I'm so good. How are you?
Did you have a Merry Christmas?
Yeah, Santa was good to Nads and I. I don't even remember what I got, but it was good. I got a lot of gift cards. Gift cards are the way to go, I guess, these days.
Yeah, when you don't know what to give a gift card.
That's what she did. She's like, Ajay, here's a gift card to Subway. And I'm like, you're the only one who likes Subway. I know.
Isn't that amazing?
It's
we
a
can
Homer
go
Simpson
together.
gift. That's how it always freaking works. What about you? How was your Christmas? What, did Santa make it over?
Yeah, it's been good. So I have and I think I've mentioned this before, but I have a German exchange student living with us.
Yes.
He's from Berlin. Mm-hmm. So he stayed with us for a few weeks, year and a half ago, because my son went to Germany, spent about a month in Germany.
Okay.
And he was with the host family there, and then in exchange, a few months later, they had a student come and live with our family for a few weeks. And so he enjoyed it, and now he wanted to do a full year. And so he came out here in August, and he's been living with us, going to school.
Found the door left wide open, huh?
Yeah, found some snacks. But his family actually flew out, and we went and picked them up on Christmas Day. And so I've got six Germans living in my home, hanging out for the Christmas break. And it's been great.
Okay.
We're having a lot of fun.
Is this like, okay, I was going to ask you, is it like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation where, you got people burning the turkey, burning the tree down, setting the cat on fire, or is this actually a good, organized, peaceful? Okay, that's awesome.
Been great.
Good.
Yeah, because the mom, she loves to cook. And so every morning she goes, I want to cook you breakfast.
Oh,
and so she fixes like a traditional German breakfast.
Absolutely.
And then last night, I want to make you pizzas. So we made a bunch of pizzas. And I think tonight she's going to make like a German schnitzel. So we're like, yeah, man, come stay as long as you want.
You know, that's cool. I wonder what it's like to get an invite from Eric for only 5 weeks after I spent 4 years with you on radio and I still couldn't get an invite for s'mores. I bet Jason's got an invite over your house.
Yeah, I'll invite like Germans over and people from other countries.
Yeah, and then I'm like, hey, I want to come over. Sorry. No Indians, but,
turns out we're busy.
We're busy. We're doing something tonight. It's just you. No, it's good. I wish football, I guess Christmas could have been better with football, but, things are what they are, and sometimes teams don't show up to play against a team that never wanted to be there in the first place. Can I ask you, what was more embarrassing, last year's loss to Memphis or this year's loss to Georgia State?
Let's start off on a jolly note. Question. I think this year probably smacks a little harder because I felt like with the wins that were happening leading into it, with recruiting and star players announcing they were going to return, and they're feeling like, hey, let's run this back. Yeah. Let's bring people back. There's positive energy going here. Kind of felt like this year was going to be a little better, and to see how it played out is particularly frustrating.
Yeah.
Like, I recognized that offensively Utah State would be challenged a bit with Levi as the quarterback. I know he had a great game against New Mexico.
But we found out why he wasn't starting and he was third string.
But there's a reason he's a third string.
Yeah.
And he's in his career, we've seen he is really dynamic and really good for one game a year when he's a surprise quarterback that you're not planning for. That's what happened in the New Mexico game. That's what happened in the bowl game for Wyoming last year.
Yeah.
And it's not – I don't want to be negative on Levi. That game was not won or lost because of Levi Williams. I want to be very clear about that.
No.
But so I knew that they would be a little bit offensively challenged in the passing game. I felt like they'd have opportunities in the running game with all the running backs healthy and available. But I did not expect Utah State to have such a poor performance defensively in struggling to stop the run. I should have been more prepared because of the 2 games previous they really struggled to stop the run.
Yeah, but he gave up 300-plus yards in the first half to Georgia State. Half their team wasn't even there. Their starting and backup running back were gone. Their best receiver was gone. 2 of their offensive linemen were out. Dude, they were playing guys who were like, hey, listen, we know you haven't suited up all year long, but you're going to start in the bowl game against Utah State. And they were just, it was the beat writing side of things from Georgia State was these guys don't want to go to Boise. They have no desire to be in Idaho playing on December 23rd against Utah State.
In the cold.
They just don't want to be there. Okay, well, guess what, Utah State? These guys are going to play close to home. Like you said, they had some momentum with the return of players, right? Announcements and such.
More likely to have a friendly crowd.
Yeah, and they did, by the way, for the first 2.5 quarters. But, it just... And then all of a sudden, I look up at the scoreboard. I'm like, all right, 21-14, we're fine. Field goal, 24-14. Hey, go get 6 back on the board. We're just fine. And I swear to you, it felt like I was looking down at some stuff, some paper. I look up at the scoreboard, and it's 31-14, and I told myself, ball game. There's no comeback happening in this one. There was no energy. You should have seen the sideline. It was lethargic. It was quiet. It was just kind of like, well, at least we had a fun week of sledding. Great.
Well, let's see, their coach takes his coat off. He's out there in short sleeves. He's trying to be tough,
Mr. Tough Guy,
and energetic, and have energy, and you can see that their team kind of
they
fed
bought off
of
it.
that.
Yeah, they bought off of it. And look, I'm not trying to take anything away from Georgia State. They came out and punched Utah State right in the mouth. In every way possible. They just came out there and slugged with them and said, hey, look, we don't know if we're going to win this game, but we're going to give you guys a hell of a battle and try and make something of it. And, it was 38-14 at one point, Eric. And the 14 points came in the first quarter, and then that was it. I just don't – and I remember I was looking at Scott Girard and Kevin, and I was like, guys, how does this happen? How does something like this happen? And, you know, Scotty says, like, it's a bowl game. It's going to happen. And it didn't make sense to me, and it frustrates me to no end that we go out there and we lay an egg like that to Georgia State, man. Just unreal.
Well, we've seen in Utah State's more modern history of going to bowl games, there's only, 2, 3
Yeah.
bowl games where the Aggies have looked like they are the motivated team to go out and make a game of it. Because most other games, they've kind of got knocked around.
Yep.
And it's not like they've just lost in close bowl games. Usually, more often than not, if they go to a bowl game, they're getting smacked around.
Yeah.
And it's surprising to me.
It's frustrating to no end.
It is frustrating. A reminder, if you want to text in, you want to be a part of the program, I always love to hear from you on the Full Court Press text line, 435-339-0321.
How come only person texted is Eric Frandsen Jr.? How come everybody else... Are we on air?
Eric Frandsen Jr.
Someone else. Someone text in. Someone, please.
9315. Yes, the best producer to have donuts. Glade, the best USU janitor, is on the show.
I love when you have to translate it.
Merry New Year's, Gray Coleman. Gray Coleman.
You're so mean.
And then it takes the sheep to make it from Eric to get the invite. This year's bowl was a bad bowl. Didn't like it.
This?
We should be better than that. Horrible sat line in a negative way. I'm guessing stat line.
Look at you.
We 9315 and I had some challenges yesterday trying to make sense of some of the messages.
Were you solo yesterday?
Yes.
You didn't call me?
No. I had plenty of content to get through the 2 hours.
If you got the content, don't need Ajay.
Yeah. 6543. One of the worst displays of football ever. I don't understand how Georgia State can lose a lot of quality players over the last few weeks in the portal, yet still have a quality product on the field. We lost quality players several months ago, and it just got worse over the course of the season. What gives? 2021 season was truly a dream that looks like won't be repeated for a bit. Everyone knows the only reason we got to a bowl game the last 2 years was that we had so many bad teams on the schedule. Is this the best we will get?
I gotta be careful how I say this, 'cause I have to be extremely careful. At what point do you look outward of players and look above them? Like coaching, right? Like where we look at the mindset of these guys when we go into a bowl game against Georgia State, close to home, playing a team coming across from the country, and then just get flattened in every and Eric, we got dominated in every facet of the football game. We may have scored 14 points and matched up with them for a little bit, but then all of a sudden they're sending blitz packages, weak side safety blitz, guys just coming after them, and then meanwhile 3rd and 12 gain of 15, 3rd and 16 gain of 20, 3rd and 20 gain of 40. Like, at what point do you say, what are we doing strategic wise so we aren't getting out-executed on the field? The players can do so much, right? But when you're at 3rd and 12 and you're saying, no, we're going to send 3. We're going to send 4. Why are we not sending 6 people in the box going right after him? Because you know what we did when we sent on a 3rd and 13? Send 6 in the box? We got a sack out of it. Like, Paul Fitzgerald was able to get through and get a sack. Why are we not doing that? Why do we not make adjustments? I'm so frustrated by that.
It is frustrating. And one of the topics of yesterday's show was just, where do they go from here? Because that defense was so bad over the last 3 games, particularly in the rush defense. And part of it is personnel. You're just younger, inexperienced guys that are trying to figure out how to play at this level. There's been some injury. Look, there were some key guys that were out in the bowl game because of injury.
Yeah, Anthony Switzer.
But there's also good coaches figure out how to make adjustments based on what they have to deal with.
Yeah, you think
and
Georgia
it just didn't
State
seem
was
like
that
adjustments just didn't seem to come with enough regularity to give the Aggies a chance.
I agree.
A couple more texts coming through. 8968. This year's loss looked much worse than last year. Memphis last year was bigger and better. This game was just plain bad.
Yeah.
Looked worse. Yeah, I agree. I think
The Memphis
going into
loss
it, I
was
feel like Memphis was a better team that
and
felt like they should have gone to a bigger bowl, and so they were
a little bit miffed.
They had
but,
some
I mean, we had players already one
sauce
foot out
and
the
vinegar.
door. Byron Vaughn's had already quit. Johnny Carter had already quit. Like, there were guys who were mentally checked out of that game who weren't even there, weren't even in the same circuit as the game. So, yeah.
6804 texting in, Coach Anderson has to go. Need an assistant from a big-time program to become the head coach, even if they are only there for a couple of years. Please not another head coach from a mediocre small school.
Interesting. What?
I'm not ready to call for Coach Anderson.
Me neither.
This next year is, I believe, a make or break year.
Yeah. It's his best roster he's had yet. By far. I mean, he's got guys coming back. This could be one of his best rosters he's had yet. Jalen Royals is back. I know you lose Terrell Vaughns, but you still got Otto Tia. You still got these guys who are still
You've got experienced quarterbacks. You've got experienced running backs.
Really good
You've got
defense.
experienced offensive line.
I think you got a really good defense if everybody can stay healthy, right?
Well, I don't know that I'd say you have a really good defense, but you have younger players who got a lot of playing time.
Well, who do you
will
have
be
coming back? You have, you lose Dye, which is a bummer. Dye wanted to play free safety. They said no because that's Ike's spot. So Dye's like, well, I'm gone. I'm not going to kick out Ike, though. Like, Ike is one of your better defensive back players. He has his moments where he might try and go do his own thing, and that doesn't work, but I'd take Ike. You lose Holloway, obviously, but you get Anthony Switzer back. Hopefully he'll be healthy and ready to go.
Paul Fitzgerald will be back.
Yeah, I think you have some good things that are coming back. But let's see. And you know,
more depth on the linebacker. You need more depth on the defensive front.
Yeah, you get Steven. I think you guys got coming back. You got a really, really brutal non-conference schedule now. Like, it is brutal. And then your conference schedule isn't much more favorable. You have to go to Wyoming. You get UNLV at home, who returns everybody back from this year's team, which competed in the Mountain West Conference Championship.
Except for their quarterback.
No, he's back, isn't he?
He's transferred.
Who is the? Oh yeah, they had the freshman kid.
Yeah.
Well, the freshman kid went out there and put on a show yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. So the non-conference, Robert Morris, who was not good in FCS last year.
That's one of your cupcake games.
Okay. Then you go to USC.
USC's going to be good.
You host Utah.
That's not going to be pretty.
You go to Temple, who only won 3 games
That's
this year.
at Eagle Stadium, too.
Yeah.
Be
They're
fun.
not good. So that's your non-conference. Oh, then later, at some point, Washington State will be in there.
Yeah.
Washington State won 5 games. Not stellar. So but that's a good. That's a decent non-conference.
They won 5 games, but they also played in the Pac-12.
You probably go 2-2 with that schedule.
Okay.
And then Robert Morris will say that's a win. You go 3-2 in your non-conference.
Yeah. But and then conference play is not really favorable. UNLV is going to be really good. Okay, at Boise State, and we could have the all-Madden team of Boise State for Utah State and still lose. You are at Wyoming, which has not been a very favorable matchup at their place. And
then at Colorado State.
That one scares me to death. Every time we go to Colorado State, something crazy happens.
Very wonky. Yeah. But home games against Hawaii, New Mexico, San Diego State.
Well, you know what? We barely squeaked by New Mexico this year.
Yeah, and they're going to have a different coach.
Yeah, and
we'll probably make better coaching decisions.
Who's an upgrade? Yeah, exactly. Who's an upgrade from what they had this year? Yes, 100%.
By the way, 6804. Talking about Coach Anderson needs to go. It says, okay, that's fine. We can have the same conversation next year. Smiley face.
That's a great response. 6804. I love that.
8908 looks like sent a picture, but I don't. Oh, here we go. It looks like from Twitter.
Okay.
House of Highlights. Most wins by decade. In the 60s, it was Bill Russell. In the 70s, it was Paul Silas. In the 80s, Michael Cooper. In the 90s, Karl Malone and Scottie Pippen. In the 2000s, Tim Duncan. 2010s, LeBron James. In the 2020s, George Niang.
Okay, 6804. Or who was this again?
8908.
8908.
That's a really interesting stat, 8908.
No. He's counting.
George Niang.
They're
John
counting
Jay's
wins in
favorite player.
Fortnite. That chubby arms, dude. That guy sucks. He's so bad.
9315, Georgia State football. How do you let their quarterback have enough time to visit the site in Boise before he finally throws the ball
It's
for an
true,
easy
though.
catch?
He combed his hair, ate a sandwich, waved to his girlfriend and his mom, then chucked the ball 40 yards
Yeah,
for a touchdown.
Utah State had a few tackles for loss. They had a few sacks, but it felt like he was never really under duress.
And that's a Joe Coughlin thing.
Yeah.
We're blitzing. We're putting 4 people up there to go rush against this group, and Daniel Granger kid's just having a heyday.
Right. If you
I
have a
don't get
great
it.
secondary, I don't care how great your secondary is. The quarterback has all day.
Yeah.
Eventually, somebody's going to shake loose, and he's going to find somebody.
Well, he could put the ball on a dime, couldn't he?
I felt like they needed to make him one-dimensional and force him to throw the ball. There's no way they could do that. He was a good thrower. He was a better quarterback in throwing than I expected.
He could run it too, though.
But his ability to
runs.
rush and create off of broken plays, it was great.
So frustrating.
All right, we've got to take a timeout here in the full court press. 435-339-0321 if you want to chime in. But let's look at the season as a whole for Utah State football. What were some of the highs and the lows? As we look at the season now that it's done, it's completed, we've complained about the bowl game and vented some of our frustrations about the rush defense over the last 3 games. But looking back on the season as a whole, how would you recap the season? What were some of the highs? What were some of the lows? Who were some of the players who kind of surprised you and stood out in their play? 435-339-0321.
People gathering to give thanks, renew friendships, and celebrate traditions will always be what the holidays are about. This is Lance Zollinger, President at Cache Valley Bank. As we celebrate together, thank you for making us your preferred hometown bank and trusted tradition for achieving your financial needs and ambitions. We wish you a year filled with wonderful memories, good times, safety, and lots of happiness. We think you deserve it. Happy holidays from Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Don't get caught without power to your home or business. This is Tyler with Golden Spike Electric. We offer Generac backup generators to keep your home or business warm, avoiding frozen pipes, loss of valuable food, or even a flooded basement. Golden Spike Electric is certified and factory trained, so you know it will be installed right and properly maintained. Contact Golden Spike Electric so you'll never be without power again. Online at gsegenerators.com. We also service other brands. Golden Spike Electric and Generac. Power you can count on.
I've said it for years. Competition in the marketplace is good for the consumer, but be careful. The word sale, for whatever reason, may not be the best deal. Hi, this is Bobby with Northern Home Store. Our goal is to make sure you get the best price every single day, the highest quality name brand mattresses, and the best furniture brand at the lowest prices every day. Yes, I dare you to compare. In the valley, out of the valley, on the internet, it doesn't matter. Check the so-called sale prices and then come to Northern Home Store and really save. Northern Home Store, 2650 North Main.
For more than a century, S. Needham Jewelers has been repairing jewelry and watches in Cache Valley. We do all our work on premises, and you may even talk directly with our expert technicians. We also have today's state-of-the-art equipment, including a laser welder that will repair jewelry with precision. We guarantee our work and offer competitive prices. So whether repairing your precious wedding ring, sizing a ring, or simply changing a watch battery, come to Utah's oldest jewelry store, today's newest technology and repair. S. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
If cost is preventing you from calling an attorney after your accident, you can stop worrying now. You can call the Advocates and discuss your case with an experienced Cache Valley attorney at no cost to you. At the Advocates, when we say you pay zip, nil, nothing, we mean it. Our consultations are free and we don't get paid unless we win your case. Let us be your advocate and we will fight for the settlement you deserve without you ever opening your wallet. Call 801-355-5550 or chat online at utahadvocates.com.
While you're doing whatever it is you do, we're testing, retesting, engineering, and re-engineering to keep up with you. We run together.
Your local Train dealer, JM Mechanical, has moved to 222 West 2850 North, North Logan, just north of Airport Road. Fast 24-hour heating service is available in Box Elder, Cache County, and Franklin County with a 100% satisfaction guarantee.
It's hard to stop a train.
Sunday on Compass Media Networks, coverage of the NFL. It's a pivotal Week 17 showdown in the AFC as the Kansas City Chiefs host the Cincinnati Bengals. Hi, this is Jeff Biggs. Join Bill Rosinski, Steve Berline, and me for all the action in an AFC championship game rematch with playoff implications for both teams. It's the Chiefs and the Bengals. If it's the NFL, it's right here.
Pre-game begins Sunday afternoon at 1:45 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Join the show by calling 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Eric Frandsen and special guest.
I'm still kind of angry with you that you didn't ask me to come in yesterday.
Sanjay Albertson.
Why didn't you ask me? You were solo. We had this conversation like a month ago. And you're like, yeah, if I'm solo, I'll give you a call. And you were solo and you didn't give me a call.
I came into the building about 20 minutes before the show was to start. And
no, you didn't, Eric.
I was like, you know what?
You're such a liar.
Let's go. Let's roll. I got enough to talk about between football and basketball. Before I knew it, the show was over.
Listeners, do you like having Ajay on studio? Go ahead and text in at 435-339-0321. No, sorry, you're both. Anyways, your question you talked about before. This is going to be an interesting topic here.
Yeah, I know there's been a few texts about basketball. We will get to those.
I don't know why they're only 12-1 with Colorado State. Probably being top 12 team in the country coming in our house.
Stay tuned for that. It's 6543. Let's see. Not being able to beat one team that had a winning record spoke volumes about the season. Yeah, I mean, you look at the year. Losses were to good teams. Iowa went to bowl game. Air Force went to bowl game. James Madison went to a bowl game. Fresno State went to a bowl game. San Jose State went to a bowl game. Boise State went to a bowl game. So all their losses were to bowl-eligible teams.
Okay.
The victories, how many teams did they beat who went to a bowl game? Idaho State, well, lower division. UConn? No, UConn's bad. Colorado State? They only won 5 games. San Diego State? They only won 4 games. Nevada? They only won 4 games. New Mexico?
They're about to shut down their football program.
They only won 4 games.
Okay, so
they didn't beat anybody of note.
Okay, what are those losses to those teams who went to a bowl game? Like, can we just kind of go through them? Like Air Force, they flattened us. They did whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted.
344 yards rushing.
I mean, it was Georgia State in the conference portion of the season.
Yep.
James Madison did this to a lot of teams. James Madison was actually decent this year.
Of the losses, that's probably maybe even Fresno State. Those 2 games were where things could have really turned around for Utah State. Yeah. Bad starts, but then turned things around and had great second halves. But just not enough.
But the problem is that you play Fresno State and you have this freshman kid in there and he makes a freshman mistake. You know, instead of just taking the sack or getting rid of the ball, he's getting twirled around and he lets it go unnecessarily and he throws a pick in the end zone. Just stuff like that, right? That just it changed the course, like you said. It probably changed the course of the season. You get a win against James Madison or you beat Fresno State at our place, maybe we're talking about a different kind of a season here, Eric.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The Boise State game, I mean, they just made a coaching change. I really hoped that they were going to keep Andy Avalos on for one more week, so we would have beat him.
Yeah,
I agree. They make the coaching change. Spencer Danielson comes on. They're fired up. Players are, Taylor Green, sticks around. And we get flattened. 45-10 at our house. That's hard to swallow. So some of those games, I'm like, oh man, we're right there. And some of those games, it's just, were we even there?
Yeah. So when you look at the season as a whole, look back on the year. I know frustrating conclusion in the bowl game, but do you have a frustrated feeling in attitude about the season overall, or is it about what you expected?
What about you? I mean,
because for me, before the season, I made it clear I thought this team would win 5 games. I didn't think they were going to be bowl eligible.
Understandable.
Just too many questions about their defense. So they surprised me by getting bowl eligible. I think the San Diego State game was probably the biggest game that caught me by surprise just because they ended up having a really bad year. Before the season, would not have expected to lose that or to win that game. But to lose the way they did at San Jose, to lose the way they did against Boise, to require a last-second blocked PAT to beat UConn. There were a lot of things that were frustrating about the season, but at the same time, there were some bright spots. I think the trio of running backs was great for Utah State. I think some things that happened with the development in the secondary turned out to be exciting. I think the quarterback back and forth was problematic. I've never really seen a program where that's been healthy. It didn't prove to be that at all for Utah State either this year.
You talk about the secondary. Ike Larson obviously stepped up, was really, really good. Devin Dye I thought was really good too. MJ Tafisi had a solid season.
Great year.
But I still can't compound in my head some of the numbers that we gave up defensively on the ground, Eric. I don't even know.
Four games at least. I didn't go back and double check more, but 4 games at least where the Aggies gave up 330 yards on the ground at least. That's unfathomable.
I wish, and we didn't see enough games where both the offense and the defense were on the same page in the same game.
For a full game.
For a full game, for 60 minutes. Idaho State was the only game I saw it.
Yeah.
Against a lower division team. That was it.
I think for the second half against James Madison, okay, but again, it was just a half.
And you still lost, by the way, because that first half you couldn't put it together.
So disjointed. Yeah.
Fresno State, same thing.
You're right.
Boise State, neither of them showed up.
Never arrived.
There's too many. And I think I'm kind of with you. I didn't expect this glorious 2021 comeback, going to a bowl game and whatever. And I know it takes time, but even after beating New Mexico, I thought, okay, we're going to go to a bowl game, and it's going to be in Idaho. We're going to play in the Potato Bowl, and we're going to win it. We're close to home. Team's fired up. We got people coming back. I was fired up about the bowl game, honestly. And knowing that Georgia State didn't want to be in that game, they didn't want to travel across the country. You had players leaving the portal because they're like, we don't want to go to Boise. Might as well just get out now. And then you get blown out. Just manhandled. Eric, on both sides of the ball. It wasn't just offense or defense. It was both. Both. That's horrible. And by the way, your special teams, your kickoff team, wasn't great either. We allowed a couple of big returns in the process. I don't even know what their average starting field position was, but it wasn't good. It was great for them, not good for us. The way they lost to Georgia State left such a sour taste in my mouth. The New Mexico game was fun. That was great. A great story, Levi Williams coming back. And then you watch the Georgia State game, and you're like, oh, that's why he was the third string the whole entire time.
Yeah, it definitely leaves a sour taste to close out the season, and that's what's going to be frustrating. Had they won, then we could look back and say, through all their challenges, they found ways to win.
7-6, above 500.
Yeah, but never did they beat a team that was above mediocre.
Yeah. Give me your MVP offensively and your MVP defensively. And I'd love to hear from our listeners, too, on this.
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. 435-339-0321. I think offensively, the MVP...
Yeah, I'm with you.
It has to be Jalen Royals. Yeah. As many touchdowns as he had, as many explosive plays as he was able to deliver, it was what a find for Utah State. If there was consistency at quarterback, I just wonder how much more he could have done.
Yeah. I will for offensively. I'll go a different place. Because Jalen Rose is an obvious candidate. Really loved what Faison did at the back position. I just thought he was so. Look, get a 3-headed monster in those backs.
Yeah.
Faison, I thought, was the best of the bunch, to be very honest with you. I thought he did a great job of securing the ball. Yards after contact, I thought was really, really good. The guy was solid all the way around. Great pass catcher, too. Booth was good. I would take Faison, Booth, and then Briggs in that order. But Faison was my guy offensively.
Yeah. Defensively? If there was an MVP of the defense?
I didn't give up, have 15 tackles broken off of them. And I'd say I'd say MJ Tafisi. Like, Ike Larson was good, don't get me wrong. He was good, but then there was times where Ike went off and did his own thing and left people out to dry. I look back at that San Diego State game and that wide open touchdown in the corner on the far side. Ike went another way he wasn't supposed to. And you went back and got yourself a pick on the out route, which is good, to end the game. But I thought MJ, man, every time he hit you, like, you could just hear it. You could feel it and you could hear it. MJ was always in the right spot at the right time, as long as he could stay healthy. But MJ was my guy defensively.
And I mean, I'd like to choose somebody different, but I don't think I can. I just think that MJ Tafisi was not afraid to make a tackle.
Yeah.
And there were times, stretches for Utah State defensively. I wondered who wanted to make a tackle. There was a lot of trying to push guys down instead of bringing guys down.
Up.
Yeah. MJ was not afraid to bring guys down. He was not afraid to get in there and mix it up.
No.
And one of the leading tacklers in the country, because he was not afraid to get in there and make a play.
How many straight games did he have a double-digit tackle game? Was it 9? I want to say it was 9.
Oh, gosh, a ton.
And he was he's in the top 10, I think, in that regard, and I think he's in the top 15 ever for tackles. He was phenomenal. I mean, and I think backs actually thought second time, like when they would see him coming down the lane, they're like, I'm going to go this route instead and lose 2 yards instead of gaining 1 and to get my head taken off. Give me a surprise player, whether good or bad, offensively or defensively, where you thought, man, this guy was better than I thought, or this guy should have been better than I thought.
Well, I mean, Otto Tia was on our top 25 Aggies going into the season, and we never really saw him. So I don't know if that was injury, if he just fell out of rotation because of Royals and Micah Davis, or the newcomers that exploded onto the scene. So that was a surprise in one sense, but I think in another, we already mentioned Jalen Royals, but I think Micah Davis was another one who was a great addition to Utah State, not just as a receiver, but also in the return game and special teams.
Great call. Man, this one's kind of hard too. Colby Bowman, I thought would be more productive, and we didn't hear a lot of his name. I know he had a couple drop passes, I think, against Fresno State.
Yeah,
one of them should have been a touchdown.
Big plays.
Yeah, and he just wasn't able. I mean, I thought we were going to get more out of him, and we didn't. We got very much less than I thought we would out of him. So
I think defensively, a player who was a nice surprise is Paul Fitzgerald.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there were great players on the edges for Utah State defensively who left, and starters and rotation guys gone, and so didn't know what was going to happen at that position. And he comes in as a young player, unproven player, is thrust into that role probably before he was physically ready, and made good plays for Utah State. So I'm excited about his future as an edge rusher for USU, and just to see him continue to work in the weight room, get bigger, continue to develop as a player. But that was a pleasant surprise to see him play and develop and grow into a nice impact player for Utah State defensively.
You know who I really liked more and more as we got along the season is Kean Sloan.
Kean Sloan?
Kean Sloan, I apologize. I love the way he runs. I love the way he puts your head down on you. He gets low, or I guess as Coach Wells would always say, he uses low pad level. Phenomenal player, really high IQ too. I thought Sloan came along very nicely as the season went along, and was a good fill-in for Max Alford. That was a huge loss losing Max, man. Yeah. That was so hard, and you can't replace Max, as Coach would say on and on again. But Sloan did a really good job this year in trying to fill out, doing his best to fill in that gap.
So the expectations of the team of the season before, and now that it's been completed, did it match? What were the highs and lows? Who were the players who surprised you on the year? A couple of texts coming through. If you want to weigh in, love to hear from you. 435-339-0321. 7994 weighing in, saying having Ajay back is like the USU offensive line. Very weak, full of holes, needs to be replaced. Feel the love. 9315 texting in. I'm going to do my best. When Joe says he's going to bring the house on the QB, he means a mini Barbie house. Then he sends the lowly punt guy to put pressure. He needs to wake up and learn how to bring the house like a real football man. If we use the teams made a bowl game, which was USU can't win games. Will it really get worse next year if we use that train of thought? We need to be better.
Eric, what did you learn out of that?
Need to bring a big house, not a small Barbie house. I'm bringing pressure. And I'm not sure what to make of the last text.
Just the way you took his side, I thought you were going to go full Will Hardy. Well, that was a masterclass piece of dog crap.
No, but you're right.
I agree.
The attitude, right? I get what you're trying to say there, 9315, about being more aggressive and applying pressure to opposing quarterbacks. It's hard to know because we're not in the room. We're not in those practices. So I don't know if it's just a matter of it's not the right scheme. They're not calling it from up in the booth. They just don't have the personnel. And I think it could be a combination of both.
Okay, so transfer portal. You go in there. What are you needing offensively and defensively?
Well, you need more offensive linemen, which I think they're addressing.
Yeah.
I think the defensive lineman is probably the bigger, more important factor, and some depth at linebacker. But because this team has to be able to affect the game defensively, and they did not do that really this year at all.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's important that Joe Cawthon, for all that we're beating him up over for some of these games of late in the season.
He didn't really have a healthy roster, did he?
He didn't have a healthy roster. He arrived late. He had nothing to do with selecting the players to run the type of system that he wants to run.
Mm-hmm.
He has now had a recruiting cycle. He's going to have if he sticks around, he's going to have a full off season to work with these players and to figure out what he does and does not have to try to be better at Utah State defensively.
Yeah, I mean, again, and I know Twitter was killing Coach Cawthon, like just crazy, like a lamb to the slaughter. But you're right, he hasn't had a lot of time with the roster. But now we know what we need to go fix, and we know he knows what the Mountain West Conference is all about. Got to fix up the holes in the run game. I mean, you just can't have teams running for 300 yards like crazy all over you. You got to be able to make them one-dimensional one way or another, and the defense just could not do it. I think Blake Anderson with Cal Seffel's got that offense, within range of being where their expectations are, but that defense absolutely will need some work and need some fine-tuning very badly.
Yes, so we'd love to continue to get your reactions to that. What do you think were the highs and the lows of the last season for football? Which players surprised you, one way or the other? 435-339-0321.
This is Justin Hamilton, and all of us at Cafe Sabor wish you and your family a safe and happy holiday. For the entire month of December, with every $25 gift card purchase, you will receive a $5 card for free. Great food. It's the perfect gift for family, friends, or coworkers. Purchase a $25 gift card and get $5 additional for free. Happy holidays from all of us at Cafe Sabor.
Happy holidays from the entire team at Adams Wealth Advisors. As we celebrate the joy of this season, it's also time to plan for a financially sound future. Wondering about tax strategies or required investment distributions? Adams Wealth Advisors has the answers. The Adams Wealth team is here to guide you through any complexities and ensure a prosperous new year. Happy holidays from Adams Wealth Advisors, where achieving your financial goals is their mission. Call today to schedule an appointment, 752-1702, or search Adams Wealth Advisors online.
Locker 42 is a store for Utah State fans. Many of the items you'll find there are custom, one-of-a-kind, produced by Locker 42. Such production allows for the best possible prices and custom orders that are unheard of at this level, and is one of the highest contributing licensees for royalty sales. Your purchase at Locker 42 is supporting scholarships and student athletes. Hoodies, t-shirts, hats, jackets, everything Aggie is at Locker 42. Locker 42, a store for Aggie fans by Aggie fans.
It's that first kiss, that moment in time.
It's that look in her eye when you get the first sign.
We make it personal, you know when it's real.
Something for everyone, we know how you feel. Jarrett's fine jewelry, make it special, make it Jarrett's.
This is Nate Lamson with Valley Office Systems, your home team when local matters. Valley Office Systems is your local provider for all things office, copiers, printers, furniture, and document management. Proudly serving Cache Valley since 2007. Visit valleyofficesystems.com.
Okay, 2023 didn't go the way you wanted for your fitness goals, but the new year means new health goals. Cubex Fitness can help. For a limited time, become a Cubex member and get your first 2 months for free. Then, after that 2 months, you only pay $25 a month on a month-to-month deal with no annual contract. Work out at Cubex with our virtual trainers using the free weight and cardio room in complete privacy without any concerns or distractions or comparisons. Make 2024 your year. Achieve your goals at Cubex Fitness in Logan. $75 cancellation fee at time of cancellation.
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Jason Walker, he is going to be at Olympus High School later this evening, calling a game for Logan High. Logan's not playing Olympus. They're playing Brighton, but at Olympus. Okay, I mean, I guess that happens this time of year from time to time. So Logan High basketball will be tipping off at about 5:30, pregame at 5:20 on our sister station KVNU this evening. Again, getting back to our Full Court Press text line, if there was a player that stood out to you, that surprised you one way or the other on offense, defense, special teams, who was it now that we've put that football season in the rear view? 435-339-0321, or what your expectations were of the team versus the reality of the season, how it turned out. 8968 texting in saying, it was about what I expected. I hope not to lose that many players again. I thought our defense was very bad.
Yeah. Again, it's not letting the mass exodus happen for the university. They just can't afford to do that again. Coach Anderson can't afford to have that happen. I don't think it will. I think, again, he has some players checked out. I think there was a lot of egocentric players on last year's team, and those egos came bulging out during the bowl game. I thought this year's team was much more kept in control. They listened more. They did, they were more. I think there was a better chemistry between the players and the coaches.
Yeah, there was a lot of emotional stuff that was going on last year too.
Yeah,
and like Anderson with him personally and his family, and then there was the reaction to the fans and the fans to the team. And
dude, I totally forgot about that.
They had to take a step back.
Literally
and do this
forgot
whole
about that.
Mental health awareness stuff, and so it was last year. It was weird for a lot of reasons. This year, we didn't have that, but we just knew that this team was dealing with trying to fill holes with guys who weren't really ready to be there. And I'm sure for them, they were excited for the opportunity to play. And I don't mean to take that away from anybody, but some guys had to be put into positions that they weren't fully ready to be there. And they just had to roll with what they had. And so with that, you're going to have games where there's a lot of penalties and a lot of mistakes, and that was a real problem the start of the year. A lot of penalties.
Wasn't there a lot of false starts too? Offensive linemen, we just could not stay set until the ball was snapped. I remember there was some issues in that regard too. Okay, so 6 and 7, right, under 500 for this year's team. We've already talked a little bit about next year's schedule and what it looks like. Look, as much as and as daunting as it sounds with that non-conference schedule, especially when you got Utah and USC. Utah brings nearly everybody back, including Cam Rising. They bring back a slate of their Utah defense, which is just what they did this year was phenomenal. They were really good. I mean, I know their offense struggled a lot because they lost, some guys were sitting out, and attrition was a huge issue for them, just like it was for the Aggies this year. USC's USC. Robert Morris is a win. And Temple at Philadelphia Eagles Stadium will be an awesome experience.
And Washington State.
Yeah, Washington State.
Who knows?
We don't know.
Who knows?
And so I say all that because I think that there's a bright hope for next year's team. And I love what you said. It's a make or break year for Coach Anderson. It really is. Like, all right, man, like this is year 4. This is your team, your way of recruiting. This is your guys. You need to bring out some results. And I think he will. I really do. I think offensively, I think hopefully you'll see a little bit more sturdy, solution at the quarterback spot. I thought that was a major issue, conflict-wise, maybe between in the locker room. I don't know that for sure. But I think that that quarterback situation might have been a huge, problem. Just, who are you, a McKay guy or are you a Cooper guy? You even had on the text, and I think I listened to your show one time, and you guys talked about it, like who should be starting, who should be the quarterback. And if I'm not mistaken, like your text line lit up like a Christmas tree that day. So I think it might have been an issue in the locker room, but hopefully they get that figured out next year, and hopefully we have some consistency.
Yeah, agreed. We got 4 more texts coming through. We'll get to those. Hang tight. Got to take another time out here in the Full Court Press. 435-339-0321 if you want to chime in.
It's ski season, Cache Valley. This is Mark at the Sportsman, where we mount bindings. If you need bindings mounted to your skis or snowboards, in most cases we can do it in 48 hours or less. That's right, 48 hours or less. At the Sportsman, we can also tune, sharpen, wax, and repair your skis or board so they are ready for the season. Usually we can get those done in 48 hours as well. For 73 years, we have been taking care of skis and boards only at the Sportsman on Main Street in downtown Logan with tons of parking in the back.
Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning and Advanced Fireplace and Stoves send out a big thank you to local residents who donated to their food drive this year. Advanced Heating and Advanced Fireplace were able to donate hundreds of pounds of food to local organizations, thanks in part to your donations. And remember, if you need your heating unit or fireplace service before it gets Cache Valley cold, call 752-7272. Thank you from the Advanced team for making their canned food drive for local families a success.
Prodigy Brewing is the perfect place to meet up with family and friends this holiday season. Whether you're sipping on a carefully crafted brew, enjoying a delicious juicy burger, or biting into a sizzling wood-fire pizza, Prodigy Brewing is the place to be. Come in for Trivia Tuesdays or with friends and family to celebrate the season. Voted best craft beer and bar and grill in northern Utah. Cheers to making unforgettable memories at Prodigy Brewing on Center Street in downtown Logan. Prodigy Brewing, extraordinary service and family friendly.
Check out the new Liberty Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in beautiful Montpelier, Idaho. We've got friendly staff, great service, fresh inventory, and the same values you expect in a small town. Montpelier, Idaho, a small town with great people to serve you, the people of Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah. You can now see most inventory online too at libertycdjr.com. We're the new Liberty Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Montpelier with warranty forever.
The Aggies, Jazz, high schools, even the Pee Wee's T-ball team. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Stock up with washer fluid from Prime Guard or Peak. And if you drive a diesel, it'll run better when you treat the fuel with Stanadine, House, or Power Service at Napa Auto Parts. There's 5 locally owned locations from Preston to Providence. That's Napa Auto Parts. So getting back to the Full Court Press text line, a couple of you reacting to the discussion about surprises of the past year, players, highs and lows for college football for the Utah State football season. 2409 texting in, I hope you're right that after 3 years, Blake Anderson can figure out what he needs to recruit. But who knows if he can recruit them? I think people are cutting him way too much slack. Okay, 9315. Did Elf the Ajay was my player that stood out for me?
Yes.
But only if he brought it into the studio like he said he would.
Sure did.
The season was underwhelming to me because I could understand what happened last year, but did not expect it this year. That's why I say underwhelming.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, 9315. 6804. Make or break year for Coach Anderson. I think I just heard a snap.
Well.
Okay.
All right. It has been written.
So let it be written. So let it be done. No, look. Matt Wells, had a kind of similar path in his start to coaching at Utah State. First year, wins 10 games, goes to the conference championship game. You know, they lose, but big excitement. The next year, they still win. They go to a bowl game, but it starts to, those wins are fewer.
Yeah.
And it keeps going down and down and down. Eventually, he has a year he only wins 3 games. He bottoms out, and pressure starts to increase for Matt Wells. But then it rebounds, and he gets it dialed in and figures it out and gets the team winning again. If Blake Anderson's bottom out is just getting to a bowl game, is that such a bad thing? Are we being a little too hard on Blake Anderson?
Yeah, that's a great point, too.
I mean, if that's the floor,
man,
that's not.
Can we go back to 2004 then? Just remind people what it was like?
But still, the expectation has been set by Blake. He has proven what he can do at Utah State. And that's what fans are going to come to expect. Much more competitive year next year. More on that next hour.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Oklahoma City Thunder have gradually become the darlings of the NBA. They have one of the younger rosters in the league. OKC remains near the top of the Western Conference. It's hard to compare any team to the Thunder of old when they had the young core of Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. But this year's team has given us glimpses of a similarly talented young core. Chet Holmgren, he'll be one of the favorites for Rookie of the Year. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander looks like a perennial MVP candidate. You have Josh Giddey and Jalen Williams. They provided the team with some unique depth. A young, talented core, nothing new in Oklahoma City. But the last time we were this excited about the Thunder, they fumbled their future away after ripping up that core. This year's roster will give the team an opportunity for redemption, and that's rare in the NBA. And with a playoff run looking likely, it should be a pretty fascinating time in OKC. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.